While the world is busy fawning over the all-new super shiny premium Samsung phones, don't forget that you could bag yourself a Galaxy handset for a lot less cash. Like for example this here Galaxy A51 smartphone, which costs around 300 of your British pounds but still delivers a full One UI experience like those flagships, with some serious media chops, some slick design work and a feature-packed multi-lens camera. Sounds a bit too good to be true, right? Kinda like Piers Morgan suddenly deciding to ditch the TV gig and embark on a fresh new career in deep space exploration. Well, I've been using the Galaxy A51 as my full-time personal smartphone for the past week or so, and here is my in-depth Samsung Galaxy A51 review so you can see if it's the next blower for you. And if you want the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now, despite its refreshingly low asking price, this Samsung handset still boasts a rather attractive finish. You may not get those premium edge display aesthetics, but the Galaxy A51 still has pleasingly skinny bezels, and that curved back makes for a comfortable fit in the hand. Samsung has added a neat prism effect to the rear end as well, which basically vomits out a rainbow splash of colour when it catches the light. This definitely adds a bit of character to what could have been a very boring look. And while the more premium glass Galaxy phones are of course well known for their fragile nature, basically do not drop them whatever you do, this plastic chassis is a lot more durable. You can chuck about the Galaxy A51 with gear band and no real worries, although unfortunately that glossy surface is rather susceptible to light scratching. And it is also a fingerprint magnet, so you'll need to keep wiping it off to admire that attractive design work. And no, there's no form of water resistance either, so don't go getting it moist. Now, one of the more premium design elements that is carried over from those flagship phones to the Galaxy A51 is that in-display fingerprint sensor. It's not an ultrasonic scanner like you'll find on the likes of the Galaxy S10, but it doesn't really matter. As far as in-display fingerprint sensors go, it's one of the more accurate and responsive ones that I've tested. Plus, as an alternative, you do have a proper bit of face unlock on board as well, which can be set to only work if your eyes are open for stronger security. The security is of course a key feature of Samsung's One UI launcher, which here on the Galaxy A51 is slathered all over the fresh new Android 10. The combination of Samsung Knox tech and the Android 10 smarts means your private bits are held securely and you have full control of your apps and everything as well. No dodgy business. And here on the Galaxy A51 you get the all-new One UI version 2, which sure enough doesn't add anything truly life-affirming to the original version, but it does tweak a few existing features for the better. So you now have a proper comprehensive dark mode and even deeper customization for the likes of the lock screen and that nifty gesture navigation. I've done a full One UI version 2 tips and tricks guide here on the Galaxy A51, so go check that out for an in-depth look at that software and some of the best bits on there. Now, one of the features that I covered in the guide was the very useful one-handed mode, which is an absolute godsend given the ginormous 6.5-inch A51 display. It's certainly spacious enough for enjoying your movies on the go, and those visuals really pop as well thanks to the Super AMOLED tech. You can dial down the vibrancy if you like, but I really enjoyed these smack you full pelt in the face colours, which are especially well suited to animation. Plus, that Full HD Plus resolution keeps pictures sharp despite the size of that panel. The only feature that will likely divide fans is the so-called infinity or pinhole notch thingy, which for some reason is positioned slap bang in the centre of the display, just like your typical notch. Most of those pinhole jobbies are shunted off into one corner, so they're a lot less obvious when, for instance, you're consuming full screen media content. There's no obvious benefit for Samsung placing that thing centrally for Skyping or gaming or anything like that, so not really sure why it's a thing, but to be honest, at least it is a tiny little speck, so I personally didn't find it particularly intrusive. As for your audio, there's no stereo speaker setup here, but the edge-mounted mono blaster is reasonably loud and clarity remains strong on top levels. As usual with Sammy Blows, you get a proper bit of headphone jack action and full Bluetooth 5 support as well, so for your music you are basically covered. And I don't have any real proper complaints when it comes to the performance either, although the Samsung Galaxy A51 certainly in a super smooth smartphone. I definitely quite regularly experience the odd stutter and stammer as I'm flicking around through the UI, dodging between my different apps, stuff like that, but nothing too troublesome beyond a massive camera crash, which was kind of annoying. Although that said, the Galaxy A51 doesn't seem to be the best when it comes to syncing. I've noticed that some of my messages and other bits don't trickle through until I actually unlock the smartphone, and sometimes I even open the app and then they'll suddenly pop into existence. Seems a bit weird. But that Exynos 9611 chipset generally copes alright with your apps and media, and even a bit of gaming on the side as well. You can even play PUBG Mobile on high detail settings with a reasonably consistent frame rate. Plus you still get Samsung's Game Launcher tool, which keeps other apps from hogging your resources and bandwidth, while adding features like screen recording for those who really want it. And the fact that the Galaxy A51's display is perfectly flat makes it better suited to gaming on the likes of PUBG compared with those more premium Galaxy phones, as none of the virtual controls controls are caught up in the curvy edging. And while I came quite close on a couple of occasions, I never actually drained the Galaxy A51 in a full day, thanks to the reasonably sized 4000 mAh battery stuffed inside. Not quite a patch of the 5000 mAh mega beasts on the likes of some Oppo and Realme smartphones, but it'll definitely do the job, even on quite intensive days where you're Skyping, doing a bit of gaming, video streaming, stuff like that. Likewise, Samsung's 15-watt fast charge tech is beaten by the likes of Motorola's 27-watt turbocharge effort, but it still delivers a few hours of use from just 15 to 20 minutes at the plug. Definitely handy in a pinch. Which brings us nicely onto the camera tech, and most budget-friendly smartphones these days come packing enough camera lenses to choke a donkey, and the Samsung Galaxy A51 ain't an exception. Slapped on the arse end, you get a 48-megapixel primary lens, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide angle lens, a 5-megapixel macro camera, and a 5-megapixel depth sensor. Now, I've been rigorously testing that camera setup, as well as of course the 32-megapixel pinhole selfie camera, so go check out my full in-depth Samsung Galaxy A51 camera review for all you need to know. And that right there is the full skinny on the Samsung Galaxy A51 after I've been using it as my full-time personal handset for a good few days. It's a reasonably good mid-range mobile. It's beaten in a lot of areas by some of its close rivals, but as an all-round smartphone it definitely does the job. Very few little pain points in there that would find particularly troublesome. Certainly it's got respectable performance, decent battery life, the camera tech does the job, and I do like that rather sleek design. And if you're after a media monster for around that sort of £300 price point, then that 6.5-inch Super AMOLED screen is an absolute beast, and it definitely has it in the audio department as well. So if you've been using the Galaxy A51 as your full-time smartphone, definitely be great to hear your own personal mini review down below in the comments. Please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest greatest tech. Cheers everyone, love you!